So there's been a lot going on, right, fellas? I think we can all agree on that. And I think I want to start this episode out on a kind of a light-hearted note, but also kind of a serious, hey, dystopian, what are we doing in the world type thing, especially for the young fellas out there. The Andrew Tates of the world, the protein boys. And so I was on the old social media this past week, and just looking at things to substantiate my diet and things like that. And I came across this food product called Dawg Food. Now, before I get into that, I want to just say, are you guys familiar with the dog diet? DAWG, by the way, the dog diet. Well, if
Oh,
you're,
yeah,
if
I
you're,
don't.
no, okay.
No, I have no idea.
Well, the dog diet, and I think this is my take on it. I think I just heard like in passing what it is, and this is kind of like the way I've been looking at my fitness and my nutrition the past couple months. And it's basically, a dog eats once a day, or the dog eats the same thing over and over and over again, and it doesn't complain. Mostly because it can't communicate with humans, but they just seem to enjoy it the same amount as it would if it was the first time ever having it. And the point why it's called the dog diet is one, you're supposed to have the same meal over and over again, whether that's chicken and rice, whether that's whatever, just protein, basic, whatever. And this is a bodybuilder said this, right? So it's a dog diet because you're supposed to have, like I said, the same thing over and over again. It's also called the dog diet because the only people that do it are dogs, right? DAWGs now. So you got that dog in you. And so this resonated with me for some reason. And I'm assuming why is because I am in that demographic where this food product that I spoke about in the beginning was targeted towards. And it's targeted towards, apparently, we've seen it in the cartoon Futurama, but it's targeted towards probably young men in their early to mid 20s who are, I'm assuming, a bachelor. I mean, granted, I'm not, but I also have my very weird diets that go on, and I just kind of have my own section of the cupboard. But so this dog food, and that's what it's called, and feel free to look it up, but it's I believe it's dawgfood.com. So DAWG once again.
It's eatdogfood.com. I pulled it up. I
Eat
had to see.
eatdogfood.com.
Eatdogfood. Yeah.
Not sponsored. Will never be sponsored by them.
I do not sponsor the pot. This stuff looks like shit. It's
So they
awful.
offer two versions, and Zach, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe one is chicken and one is like beef,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, they have a chicken and a beef. I tell you what, the macros look good.
Zach
But
sold.
like, well, okay. Okay, fuck, man. It's mostly protein. There's like not a lot of carbs. There's like not any fiber in this bitch. It's not gonna taste like anything. So like the beef one here, for example, I was looking too because I want to know, this stuff's kind of expensive.
It is.
You get 14 servings of the beef, eight serving size being 8 ounces. So you get 14 8-ounce which is like not a lot of food. Uh, for 78.99 plus shipping. And in there you get some beef, some 90/10 beef, carrots, sweet potato, green beans, peas, and sweet corn. So it's all just literally shit. I would feed this to my dog and feel pretty happy with it. Like I'd feel content that he's getting everything he needs with like my actual pet dog that is an actual dog, like a DOG.
Yeah. So young men are probably consuming this and just like, dude, this is like the easiest shit. And that's the way I look at food too. Is how easy is it to make, and how sustainable can I make this over a long period of time, right? So that's why I make my chicken wraps and whatnot. But how lazy does one have to be to buy a bag of chicken and beef and be like, yeah, I eat dog food? Imagine being a single man and bringing a date home, or somebody you pick up from the bar and the next morning, or even hey, what do you want for dinner? And you're like, hey, I got
Uh,
some dog food.
yeah, I
And
got a couple of dog food in the fridge, man.
yeah. And or she stumbles across it, she wants to make you breakfast the next morning, and she opens your fucking cupboard, you got 4
There's
bags of dog
nothing in
food in
there.
there. And
It's just like that and a bunch of fucking like sodas, like fucking natty lights.
One plate, one spoon, one fork.
Yeah.
I just subscribed.
I saw it. My first shipment gets here on Thursday.
There was something that tickled my brain about this though, because I am a lazy fuck, and I was thinking, I was like, should I get this? But then I saw there was only 14 servings in an $80 bag, and I was like, I think I'm
Dude,
all
I
right.
tell you, here's the thing. There's nothing new under the fucking sun. Okay? So I have been lifting and in the gym for like 15 years at this point. So I've seen a fair amount of shit come and go. What all this is, there's more stuff to it in here with the multiple vegetable stuff. As far back as I remember, and of course, I mean, this shit again probably goes all the way back to like the golden era of bodybuilding when it was like, whatever, eat piles of beef. Arnold would eat an entire chicken and drink like a pitcher of beer after working out. I mean, insane shit like that. Entire like pies and shit. But like back when I started lifting, the thing that was kind of similar to this was a very, very strong uh, bodybuilder turned power lifter. I forget what order he went in, named Stan Efferding, the Rhino, one of the greatest all time like masters power lifters, like masters age group power lifters to ever do it. He would always say he would make this shit called Monster Mash, and all it was you take a bunch of beef, you fry it up, and you throw in and then on your thing it's like that. You in your Tupperware goes a bunch of rice. You cook a bunch of rice, you throw a bunch of spinach in there for some like leafy green bullshit, and you pour some bone broth on it. And that's what it was. And that's this shit in a bag. But I tell you what, like if anyone out there wants stuff like this, it's way cheaper is you go to the store, you buy a big ass tube of ground beef, you cook that shit yourself. It takes like 4 minutes. Season your fucking food, please, for the love of God. You get yourself a rice cooker, you put the rice in there, you leave it alone until it pops, you put all that shit into a bunch of Tupperwares, and in a half an hour, you have 6 meals. Like, and it's a fraction of the price of this shit. I mean, this is gimmicky because yeah, you stick it in the microwave or you just pan fry it for a little bit, but yeah, dude, an 8-ounce serving. That's what would happen here is I would eat an entire bag of this shit a day because I know I would just be starving. And I would be like my nutrition would be all kinds of fucking I'd be eating 1,000 grams of protein a day or whatever the hell this is. And like nothing else. I just feel like shit because I have fucking 10 pounds of beef sitting in my stomach every day. Yeah, no, that's again, and in a world where you have like meal delivery services, like Factor is one that I've used before. Obviously not sponsored, but they're good shit. You know, and they just deliver you Tupperwares of food that tastes pretty good. Like, guys, if I can give one message to all the fucking young fellas getting into fitness, your food can still taste good. Whether you're trying to get big, get lean, whatever, you can still eat food that tastes good. It's fine. You don't have to do this shit. I remember watching bodybuilders back in the day go like, "Oh, well, I only drink diet soda in the off season." Dude, drink. I drank 3 cans today. It's fine. You're fine. This is yeah. I mean, this shit's funny as hell. I guarantee it's working. Like,
Oh
I
yeah,
guarantee it's working.
yeah. I mean, it almost
So
worked on me, and I saw the ridiculousness attached to it right away, and then I think somebody I saw the comments obviously point out, isn't what did anybody see Futurama? And then I put that in the group chat, and then Rick called it, what was it, bro chow or something like that?
Bachelor Chow. That's what they call it in Futurama.
Yeah. So, and then I think down the line in those seasons it says now with flavor. So we're not too far off.
I am curious what this shit tastes like. Like, I'm not curious enough to buy some, but like, I want to know. Like, dude, it has to be so fucking bad. Just pouring this fucking fully cooked chicken out of a goddamn bag shipped from who the fuck knows where. Like,
Dog food factory
woof.
adjacent.
Yeah, it probably is just repackaged like actual dog food. It's one of those brands of like, feed your dog real food. And it's like, let's repackage it for people too. Like this is people grade shit too.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think so. That's dystopian, right? I feel like it is a little bit. It's so on the go, and it could be mainstream. I could see it being mainstream, and so yeah, that's just a Minnesota boy's take on some of that good dog food.
Mm.
Speaking of Minnesota boy, I believe there's an update on Finkel and Eichhorn, or what's his name again? Something Eichhorn. Uh,
Justin
Justin.
Eichhorn.
Justin Eichhorn, yeah. So I don't know if somebody wants to dive into that for us, but Zach, I know you shared an article.
Yeah, there's kind of a couple of things. My wife, so point number one, my wife actually pointed out to me last night. So as we're recording this, it would have been like the 25th. Um, Possible obstruction of justice. So this guy, again, for those playing along at home, he was arrested for trying to uh, well, he asked a Bloomington undercover police officer who he thought was a 17-year-old girl to pay for sex, or he was going to pay them for sex. Arrested, and with one of his phone calls out of lockup, he tried to get someone to go to his house and take a laptop out of his house before the FBI could get there to search it.
Hmm.
Um, Last I heard, I don't know that they have the laptop anymore, or that like they have the laptop like the FBI has it or that law enforcement has it. But there's only really a handful of reasons that you might want your buddy to go and get your laptop and throw it in the fucking river. In that type of situation, so this one might really really blow up as far as like a child sex trafficking story. He might be going away. We might never hear from Mr. Justin again. The second point that I found today was one of his replacements, because of course now there's got to be a special election because Dickhead got arrested. One of the people that is being tapped to take his place potentially, uh, former chairwoman of the Republican Party of Minnesota, Jennifer Carnahan, who was asked to step down after being connected to someone who uh, went to jail for child sex trafficking, like full blown child sex trafficking. So we might replace one person with child porn on their laptop with someone with connections to a child sex trafficker in Minnesota. How are we feeling, boys?
Well, there seems to be a constant here. Someone,
Yeah, it's definitely a theme,
yeah.
I would
Yeah.
say.
And I thought, not to say that the Democrats aren't without their faults, but Jesus, I mean, what are the odds that you get rid of one and have one bring in somebody that, oh, by the way, they have a checkered past too, and it's almost right in line with why we got rid of the other fella. So that's odd.
Yeah. Yeah, it's spicy.
And their
Spicy. So
backup quarterback is a pastor.
Jesus. Yeah, I'm this story, I thought it was just gonna be one and done. Like they arrest him and he's gone. But this I feel I my gut says we're gonna have a couple more updates on this bad boy before we finally put it to bed. So yeah, that's uh yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'm happy to see that he's gone. Like it sounds like he's
Yeah.
gonna be pretty well fucking locked up forever. I mean his life is essentially over, and if you're a child fucker, I think that's what you get. That's fine.
It seems pretty fair. I would say. I just want to know what the. I wish I could just know what the thought process is for people that either a voted for him or defend the Republican Party, until their last dying breath. What's going on in their minds when they claim that the Democratic Party is full of all these, you know, you know, child molesters, things like that, and they're all part of this undercover, conspiracy theories and all that. What's going on in their minds? What are their thoughts about this? And are they still going to defend, you know, I mean, Christ, look at the president on down. I mean, it starts from the top, right? So, you just kind of want to have that conversation with some of these folks, and you're just like, hey, what are you gonna, what do you got to say now? I mean, there's evidence. I mean, granted, there was evidence with Trump too, but like, there's evidence now, and it's your guy. It's been your guy. It's going to be your guy again. Where are you on this? That's the conversation I want to have, or at least figure out what their thought processes are.
Well, if we're being honest, with their real thoughts that they'd probably never actually admit are probably heavily revolving around their repressed homosexuality or their own interest in children. But I don't think we'll ever hear from that. It seems it seems to be that every accusation tends to be a confession, and
Yeah, I I know that's been a thing that like we've kind of said a lot on the left, I think, in general. But dude, I mean, yeah, if it walks like a duck and has sex with kids like a child molester, I mean, what are you gonna call it? You know?
it's a weird duck.
And it's dude, ducks are rapey. They got like 9-inch long dicks with barbs on it. It's fucking weird, man.
Yeah.
I guess that analogy really works then.
Yeah, and fuck.
Yeah. I think, and then again, you have this. I think we see this a lot too with any other kind of, nefarious group or negative kind of thing going on in the world. There's now I believe Rick, you use this word a lot, and they're emboldened because of who the president is, right? Like there's this sense of, hey, I'm on the right side now, I'm protected, and I can pretty much do whatever I want. I mean, granted, this was probably things have been happening, obviously, during Biden's administration too, but there's a sense of almost entitlement to be able to commit these, you know, acts against humanity, so to speak, and they can get away with it. The president got away with it, but this guy seemingly, he's in a pretty blue state, and I don't think there's any wiggle room for that here. So I don't know. I
Well,
think
I
go
don't
ahead.
think that the Republicans in the state Senate were going to let this one slide. I think it's too egregious, even for them. Like they weren't just going to not call for his resignation.
Sure.
When you're red-handed like that, I mean, dude, he was talking to a police officer directly, without knowing it. I do believe pretty firmly that if it wasn't so caught red-handed like it is, if there was a different situation where maybe there was like a little bit of wiggle room to be like, oh, I don't think it was actually him, that they would cover for him, especially because they need every seat that they can possibly get in the state senate. They don't have a majority, but they need every seat they can get to get all the support they can get for anything they want to. If they want to block any more, bills from the left or anything like that, they need everything. And I don't know anything about his district. I don't know if it's maybe one of Minnesota's darker red districts or not. I'll be honest, I haven't looked. Um, but yeah, I mean, now with the special election, does that throw in the possibility that a Democrat replaces him? And then there we are, another little plus one. I think there's energy on the left. A lot of people are pissed off at the Republican Party for a lot of the things that are happening at the federal level, and I think that energy is going to bleed down to the state level at some point if it hasn't already.
Right. Well, and not just them. Democrats are pissed too. You know,
Mm.
like they're pissed at like the centrist old guard Democrats that aren't doing shit or aren't doing enough.
Yeah.
So that could definitely motivate people on the left to show up in what otherwise probably wouldn't be a hugely popular election for this special election, along with the other ones. Like I don't know how you guys feel about like the one I think in Florida, that one on April 1st, and and a couple other ones going on. That I'm definitely, I don't know, cautiously optimistic. I would say maybe.
I think that's fair. I think it's fair to be slightly optimistic about those. I think the energy is. I think it's there, and I think God help anyone running against any Republicans running right now. I just don't think the momentum is on their side. I think they've fucked around so much already at the federal level that everyone's just pissed, man. Everyone's pissed. So, and I mean, that's I think where this movement's going to come from. We see it, AOC and Bernie are touring around, filling up stadiums and bitching about billionaires and oligarchy. And dude, it's working. So,
Yeah, it's pretty hard to not see it at this point, right? I think we're getting a pretty good glimpse in the first going on what 3 months now, or 3 months
give or
exactly,
take.
um, what that looks like or what it's going to entail. Um, but yeah, I mean, I just want to go back to the emboldenment, and then giving people the space to um, be the shitty people that they are. And I think we all know the great gnome that is Joe Rogan, so to speak, that gives the wrong people the platform to be that shitty version of themselves, and bringing on folks like Alex Jones and Elon Musk to promote this narratives, I should say. I mean, it's not necessarily just been with the most recent election, but just throughout time, they bring in and allow them the space. I mean, you look at Alex Jones. I don't know if he necessarily spoke about Sandy Hook during when he was on the Joe Rogan podcast, but he ultimately just looks like a fool anywhere he goes. But people listen to that. I mean, the right people that listen to that, take things away from it, and then they start having these ideas bounce around in that empty head of theirs, and then they start spewing out this fucking thing in public, and that's where it gets out. Similar to Elon Musk now, saying trying to get empathy on Joe Rogan's podcast. So it's just this whole just it's like why is that happening? Why are we allowing that space to continue on this podcast platform?
It's this is kind of a fun thing. I mean, I had the Alex Jones was on, God, a few years ago now.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago. And to start with that one, recently had on a full blown like neo-Nazi, and we can get to that in a second. But as far as Alex Jones goes, I'm not a fan of InfoWars. Alex Jones is, I think, one of the biggest human pieces of trash to ever walk the earth. Like just one of the worst human beings, objectively. And a couple of years ago, it's interesting. I was in a bar, with a friend, and we started kind of having that bar room talk, right? And his side, and a lot of people who listen to Rogan, their side is very much free speech, absolutism, almost, right? They want, everyone should have a voice. Everyone should be able to say things, right? Sure, and I can give them that. Free speech is a fantastic thing. The issue comes in again where Joe Rogan has, as far as podcasts go, and potentially, I mean, if you include radio and all that, and the way people consume this, he has one of the biggest platforms on the planet
Yeah.
for listeners. And I think that, while free speech is a great thing, I think amplifying voices such as Alex Jones is incredibly dangerous and morally wrong. You know, I think with people like Alex Jones, or people with, again, objectively horrible ideologies and objectively horrible opinions on things, let them say what they want, I guess, sure, but we shouldn't amplify them, and we should probably try to tuck them away the best we can. You know what I mean? Uh, yes, I mean, and Rogan now, this is back when Joe Rogan was like, he was just a fun guy, and he had anyone on his podcast, and he was, um, I mean, by the time he got to Alex Jones, I think he was turning a little bit, but we saw this change from he's just listening to ideas to now he's bitching up and down about COVID and the vaccine, and all of a sudden he's like switching, and now he's full blown right wing fucking UFC gnome. Like recently he said he wasn't going to Canada for UFC 315 because like fuck Canada, blah blah blah. And why do you think that is? You know what I mean?
Right.
He's full blown far right. He's too goddamn dumb for his own fucking good. Um, so yeah. The guy he had on recently, I think it was like 2 weeks ago as of recording this. I think it was his episode released on like the 14th. Um, his like, whatever, 23 billionth episode or whatever it is, because he's got 1,000 of them. Daryl Cooper is the name of this guy. Revisionist history on the Holocaust. He has said things like, so he says that, the death camps were just prisoner of war camps, that it was more, it was better to kill them than to let them starve over the winter. That is being all the prisoners of, Auschwitz and all these other places. Says that, Winston Churchill was the problem and it wasn't Hitler. Hitler never wanted to do any of these things, et cetera, et cetera. And these are just the claims I heard. I didn't listen to the episode, of course. I don't listen to Joe Rogan. But these are just the clips that I've seen and the things that I've read. So I'm sure the rabbit hole goes a lot deeper than that. But yeah, no, I think it's very fucking dangerous, and I think Joe Rogan has overstayed his welcome as a platform for ideas.
Yeah, that's a surprising thing to hear, and I wish that I wish that one of us listened to it, because I want to know what Joe Rogan's reaction to those statements were. You know what I mean? Like, it's good that they killed him. I mean, they're not injured animals. You know what I mean? Like, they're human beings at the end
Yeah.
of the day. You don't get to decide, you're not going to make it through the winter, so I'm going to, get rid of you. That is crazy, bananas, crazy, insane speak in 2025.
Yeah, it's weird because I mean I've listened to Joe Rogan a little bit, and I've listened to clips a little more ever since that other podcast, the No Rogan Experience, came out,
Yeah,
and
shout
he's
out.
kind of all over the place. So sometimes he'll ask like probing questions, like critical thinking, uh, heavy questions, where he's not taking these guys' claims just on face value, and other times he just rolls with it. Just lets them fucking talk and agrees with them, and just goes, huh, I didn't know that. That's crazy. And then
I think that's literally like 90% of Joe Rogan clips.
Yeah.
Wow, really?
yeah.
Whoa, Jamie, pull that up.
Anyway, elk meat.
Yeah, yeah, elk meat.
Bear
Go in the
glizzy.
woods and do mushrooms. I don't know.
So yeah, it's kind of, yeah, I mean, I would agree with Zach that he's definitely taken a turn, uh more skewed toward the right. And so the probing, critical questions are fewer and far between than they used to be. But yeah, like I said, he's all over the place, and I don't know why. I don't know why he's more accepting of crazy ass shit now than he used to be. Is it just because like intellectual laziness as you get older? Like that's just, I don't
Dude,
know.
he's always been a fucking idiot. I believe that who he is now was the natural, logical conclusion of who Joe Rogan is with his fucking CTE addled fucking brain from getting punched in the dome too many fucking times. Like, dude, I mean, we saw it, I'm sure you guys have seen clips as well of his, he had Elon Musk back on again because he likes being friend with, big rich dipshit people. And again, I mean, he's laughing about like, I don't get it. Why does the left, they hate you now and they used to love you and you're just doing all these good things for them. And he's like, he platformed JD Vance and Donald Trump before the election. He openly, supported Donald Trump, through his Twitter account, before the election, which could have skewed things again, like with the younger crowd, young white dudes. That's who listens to fucking Joe Rogan. I mean, the most unbearable young white dudes on the planet listen to Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
Um, but I think this is it. I think he's always been fucking stupid, and it's to the point where he brings on people, and some of the people he brings on are very intelligent people. They are experts in their field, like honest to God. He's had on Lex Friedman. He's had on I forget his name, that outer space guy. What's
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah, Neil deGrasse. I don't know. I can't ever remember his name. Neil deGrasse. He's had him on. He's had intelligent people on, and he continues to occasionally he'll have intelligent people on. Fuck, he had Ronnie Coleman on, who's not intelligent, but he's the fucking king of bodybuilding, so it's just fun. Um, but I don't know if he sees everyone as a true, honest to God expert who is only giving him facts, and that's why he's taken it all at face value and turned conspiracy theorist. Um, I just don't, because he's had a lot of insane people on. These are just a couple of the bigger ones that I've seen or that are on the top of my head that we're talking about here. But yeah, man, I just think it's incredibly fucking stupid, and I don't know what to do about it either, right? Because there are a lot of great podcasts out there that have actual information. Um, that like actually vet information and give sources, and it's not a host that just believes shit on face value like Rogan does. But he's still king as far as I know. He's still fucking number one, and Spotify's raking it in because they paid like $400 billion or $1 million or some shit like that for exclusive rights to the Joe Rogan Experience like a handful of years back. So yeah, I don't know what to do about it. I guess don't fucking listen to Joe Rogan. Um, yeah, I mean, well, and you mentioned some of the things, what did Rogan say in response? And there's a couple of quotes in this article that I have up from Forward, which is a Jewish independent nonprofit news site. Um, and where is it that I found it? He praised Cooper's takes as nuanced and comprehensive. Um, says that people are overreacting to uh be like they're trying to be anti-Semitic to like an extreme level, and we're all overblowing everything, we're being too much. Um, yeah, he rolled with the punches, man. I mean, this guy straight up told him that Jewish people just, it was the humane thing was to put the Jewish people down instead of letting them starve. This guy said it to Joe Rogan's face, and Rogan just goes, "Yeah, no, that's a very nuanced and logical take that you have
This
there." So,
this is the same guy that gets upset because Christopher Columbus Day was changed because he's Italian. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
he gets upset about that, but he goes, "Oh, that's a nuanced answer, dude. It's because it's not. You know what I mean? It doesn't directly affect you. So you have this okayed fucking. You can say whatever you want about it, and it doesn't directly impact you, or you don't have a goddamn history of it. And people that were impacted by it probably think differently, and then historians and everybody else that can look at things objectively um, definitely think differently than what you just said and agreed with. um, that is, like I said, that's just a crazy take on anything related to the Holocaust. Yeah, I can't. I mean, like I said, 2025. There's really no space to have those conversations anymore. When I was in high school and we took history about the Holocaust and World War II and things like that. Um, you always heard about, oh yeah, my teachers would say there's people that deny this, and there are people that think the photos are all, I guess taken from a different angle or whatever. So it's like, in growing up, you're like, holy shit, there's no fucking way these people exist. I'm like, they must be like backwoods people that don't have access to, modern day technology to look up like the history. They probably had a book that was whatever, right? Like, you just don't think that there's so many people in modern day society that can actually get behind the idea that, well, it wasn't that bad. Wasn't that bad. What
right.
are you fucking talking about, you McDonald's filled fucking American? What are you talking about, dude?
Well,
Well, the
and
thing that's
listen
crazy.
to Rogan needs to have on a survivor. That's what I'm saying. Go listen to the takes from survivors. Read books written by Holocaust survivors. It was pretty fucking bad, and there's no way around it.
Right. Well, that's what I was just gonna say. Is like we still have people alive that have lived through this. Like, what do you say to those people, Mister Denier? Like how do you reconcile? Like, how do you go up to somebody who lived through that shit? Be like, nope, you're wrong. That's not what happened.
I wasn't there, and you were, but I can tell that you're wrong.
I just I just picture, like, the movie Idiocracy comes to mind all the time when we're on this podcast. First of all, but also the Americanized America, if that makes sense, in Grand Theft Auto. They have, like, it's just a caricature of itself. And again, I think that's where we're going and what we've become as a country. And it's so accurate now, where we're just all fucking scratching our fat fucking bellies, holding a goddamn to go cup, and be like, that's wrong. That's the argument. The whole argument is that's wrong. Dude, read a book. Read a book. Go there. Go to Dachau. Go to fucking Auschwitz. Go anywhere. Look
Right.
at it. Feel the presence.
Don't
And
go there
look
to
at
celebrate either.
Oh,
the Holocaust
dude.
Museum in California. Go anywhere that's close by you, because your fat ass won't get on a plane. Um, and just soak it in for half a second. Look at the shoes, the rings, the hair, the clothing items, anything that'll allow you to at least connect on a human level as to what happened all those years ago, and that the fact that it's not fake, it is a big deal, and it's something that should be recognized every single day by Americans and everybody across the world.
Oh, dude, yeah, I'm just gonna like if anyone ever denies the Holocaust to your face, you need to you need to correct that shit right there. You need to
Yeah.
fucking correct it. You need to scream at them until they fucking back off. Because I mean, dude, the thing is, like, I would love to travel. I would love to actually go like to Auschwitz and see these things. Um, and I've heard that it's heavy as shit, right? I've
Yeah.
heard that when you go there, everyone's walking through, it's like fucking silent because everyone's like just in shock that this is real life, right? I mean, you can see in the gas chambers like claw marks of people trying to claw their way out as they're fucking dying. I mean, absolutely horrific shit, and to just pretend it never happened. I mean, I can, you know what? If you wanted to pretend this shit never happened because you just simply can't believe it as like a German you're just like, I can't fucking believe this shit. But that's a different kind of disbelief than straight up being like, no, dude, it's fake. Like it never happened. It's like,
Right.
no, these people, and again, we can talk to them still. And I think we should talk to them still because, I mean, again, there's not a lot of them left. That it happened so long ago. A lot of them are, in their 70s, 80s, 90s, whatever. Um, it's a thing where just like you got to listen to these people talk about the fucking raw horror of this. So to even entertain the idea of, first of all, having someone as a guest on your show who like he is like basically this is what he's known for, is being a Holocaust denier. That's why he has a name, is for being a Holocaust denier and a fucking historical revisionist. To invite him on your fucking show and then to just sit there and agree with him the whole time and say, yeah, no, these are things I didn't necessarily think about. Absolutely fucking heinous. Like Joe Rogan, Fear Factory was the peak of his fucking usefulness to the world, right? He made people eat bugs for money on TV when I was growing up, and that's where his fucking career should have ended. That should have been the beginning, middle, and end of Joe Rogan, because his stand-up career did not go anywhere because he's not fucking funny.
It sucks.
He's fucking not funny at all. And this podcast is now platforming some of the worst human beings on the fucking planet. So again, his
Yeah.
usefulness ran out when he made that last person eat a fucking bug and land some snakes or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, which was 15-minute shock.
The problem with Joe Rogan's approach, or one of the many problems, is that it legitimizes these outrageous claims, puts them on even playing field as the correct answer, like what actually happened. Like this isn't a debate, okay? And Joe's not equipped to ask the right questions for these people to point out the flaws in their arguments. He's just not.
100%.
I think this podcast is better research than fucking Joe Rogan. And I say that as a guy that does a lot of stuff. So I'm maybe
We don't even
biased,
have
but
a Jamie.
no, we don't have a fuck. Yeah. We're our own fucking Jamie.
We have a
Fucking
Jimmy.
Yeah.
And it's rigged.
We have a Jame. It's not even a multiple James. It's one Jame.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, speaking of things that aren't quite right, like our podcast, I would say that the most recent military, what would you call it, act that the U.S. military enacted was, the bombing in Yemen that came to be recently. That was apparently in a group chat with a public journalist and deemed not classifiable material, so it wasn't that big of a deal.
But also
And
classified, and we can't share it.
exactly. And then it was before it was released to the public, or at least unbeknownst to I believe Pete Hegseth was the one who said this, like, well, it wasn't that big of a deal. We didn't even talk about that much inside the group chat. It was this, that, and the other thing. And then it was already released like in real time when he was saying that, and like he was just blatantly lying. And then again, before we jump into this even more, flashback a couple of years ago when he was talking about Hillary's emails, like saying this is such a mistake. Whoever does this should be going to prison. It shouldn't even be talked about. This is such a big national security threat, and it happened. It's like, dude, now you're in charge of the big boy stuff, and you fucked up. You fucked up hard.
Bigly, you might say.
They've blown out the fucking ass end of the hypocrisy meter. It is just done. Like you can't do any more hypocrisy. It's full hypocrisy now. You're doing worse things than what you're accusing the left of doing. No, it's fine when I do it.
Well, it's so the wild, like the timeline of this is insane, right? So it gets kind of released. Editor-in-chief of The Atlantic, but okay, so first of all, how insane is this that all of a sudden your phone pops up, oh, you've been added to this group chat, and all of a sudden you realize it's the vice president and all these other high-ranking officials, like, just talking about drone striking Yemen. Like,
Yeah.
it's just you're going about your fucking day, and you're just hanging out at your desk, you get a little notification on your phone, and all of a sudden they're like, hey, do you guys want to drone strike Yemen right now? And they're
Well,
like, yeah.
At least it was a change from your average, extended warranties about to expire.
I mean, yeah, it's way more exciting than any of that, or like the random like, oh, hello text message, right? So the other thing, so then you get Mike Waltz going on Fox News talking about, he's trying to create some weave Donald Trump style about how, someone, sometimes they're in your phone, but it's not the right phone number, so it's a contact, but it's, you think it's one person, it's some other person. He's trying to like tangle this thing up. And God, whose show is he on? I just looked at it too. God damn, but he's on Fox News, and the host of whatever show it is, I forget. It's one of the whatever, one of the blonde attractive women that Fox has probably. She just goes, "Well, but you've never spoken to him, so why was his number in your phone?" And he goes, "Oh, well, it." And you type the number wrong, like he's just tripping over his own dick for 10 minutes about how this would have happened. Yeah, Pete has this, says everything is fine. They're saying no, none of this was classified information. I think it's funny. There's one towards the end. First of all, they lay out the whole timeline for what weapons they're going to use and who they're going to attack. And then Pete Hegseth says, we are currently clean on OPSEC, which I believe means operational security. So totally secure. Which Signal, the app they were using, is an open source encrypted app, right? So it's no better than like WhatsApp. When normally, and we saw it in Trump 1.0, Donald Trump kept using his personal cell phone. The government usually assigns you like devices that they know are clean. And I think I read in Barack Obama's book when he was out, that he wrote after his memoir from being in office. When you make classified plans like this, you use your walking feet and you go to a meeting room where they take all your devices. It's like super, super cleaned and scanned for electronics and all this shit. Like I know people that work in defense and they are concerned about like the leakage of data, like the leakage of bits when it's being transferred over the air, right? So like if two things are talking to each other, you can intercept that signal and translate the bits potentially to get the information. So they're just sending that shit just free balling over the fucking air to a group chat of like 20 people. And it's in a way that's so casual. It's no different than like the three of us and 17 of our other closest friends trying to like get together for a game of fucking football in the backyard,
Right.
just like, like it's just a what's up, like oh, like you up, like fucking you up, drone strike Yemen tonight, Queen. Like that's your anti-war president, by the way. Your anti-war
Yeah.
president who is already drone striked Yemen.
And then they discredited him, right? And they said, well, he's terrible and this, that, and the other thing. And I saw on the Stephen Colbert show, it's like, well, then why the fuck was he in the group chat then? Like, if he's such a
Right.
terrible fucking journalist and he's so, you discredit him so much, why A, do you have his number? And B, why didn't that get sniffed out right away that he was in the group chat? If you guys were so concerned, A, about security, and then B, it's this fucking guy that you loathe, apparently.
Yeah, there's a number that either was labeled the guy's name or wasn't, and it was just a random fucking number that nobody bothered to vet or see who the fuck it was they were talking to.
And he wasn't
It was
replying.
like, oh, this is fine. And then they call him, they say that, nobody can trust him. All he had to fucking do, release the fucking text messages, which is what he eventually did because they said it, it's apparently not classified.
It's not classified.
And so what part of him being a piece of shit, like he didn't have to say anything. He just showing everyone what you said,
You sent him like that's
This is you.
part of the thing that's like, it's so wild that their messaging went from like, oh, this was a mistake, to, oh, it's not a big deal anyway, don't worry about it, to all of a sudden, well, no, but this guy's a piece of shit anyway. Like they're trying to cover their bases with like everything. And MAGA's going to eat it up and think it's a big fucking hoax. But like that's it. The thing is, like, they don't even have one message. They're just like scrambling to be like, how do we deny this? And it's like, well, you guys are the most unserious bags of fucking cocks anyone's ever fucking seen. You all just like, hey, let's just all download Signal and we'll use that. Like, you may as well just send this shit over Discord so anyone can fucking see. Like, get fucking real, man.
The amount of people that were freaking the fuck out about Hillary's emails.
Oh God. Yeah.
Just in my fucking life. They're losing their fucking minds over it. Like the amount of calmness they have now. I can't understand it. Obviously Obviously, it had nothing to do with emails. You don't actually give a shit about that.
I don't care
don't
about
know.
actual national security problems.
Right. You don't care about it. You were just fucking virtue signaling, and you don't actually give a shit about any of this. Like you said, they're just so unserious about any of this fucking shit. It's like
That's what
this risk.
happened. Fucking this. You hired a drunk. I'm fucking sorry, all my alcoholic homies out there. I've been one before too. It sucks, but this fucking guy, you hired someone who's definitely drinking on the job. He's drunk texted fucking plans to drone strike Yemen. If I don't fucking get it. Again, like this anti DEI meritocracy obsessed fucking thing. And again, all the way the VP was in this group chat, and all the way up to the VP, JD Vance himself was too busy fucking plowing his couch at home to sit there for half a second and think like, is this the most secure channel to talk about a military operation that we're going to carry out? Is
Right.
this the secure channel? And I also saw there was a hearing on all this. I didn't get through the whole thing because it's 2 hours long. I watched the first like 45 minutes. Um, so I didn't get to this part, but I didn't see the clip of, I think, who was it? Uh, Mark Warner? A senator who I forget was questioning Tulsi Gabbard on this, and he said, "Hey, like, oh, it was Mark Kelly. Sorry, Senator, it was Mark Kelly. Was questioning her, saying, "Hey, don't you like have you not read the rules on how we handle this type of information and how to like set up secure channels, all this and that?" And Tulsi Gabbard, who's supposed to be in charge of all this and know all of this, just goes, "I haven't read it." So you didn't even read the fucking handbook. You're just gonna fucking be like, we're just fucking doing this shit live. We're just gonna Bill O'Reilly this shit. Like,
Yeah. Well, and on
I don't
top of
know,
that,
man.
with the other questions that they were asking her, like, she kept stonewalling and saying there was no classified information. Just robocaller answering the question, and then the guy just kept grilling her. If there wasn't any classified information, give it to us. And then
Yeah.
she's just like fucking dead in the eyes, like no response or nothing. And then I love the part where they move on to I forgot the guy next to her. He said
I for you.
there was some classified, but nothing related to a military operation or something like that. And then the guy that asked Tulsi those questions waited for her to agree with him, and then lit her up again and said, "You said there wasn't any classified anything in there, not just military operations." So caught her lying under oath. Okay, which nothing will come of it. Let's be fucking honest. But hey, at least it's fucking documented. And then now the guy who all the people in that chat was calling an asshole released the full fucking conversation, showing that there was indeed classified information in there, and just proving that she lied again under oath. All of them were lying. Like,
Isn't it wild to think that like the three of us have read all that? So like we know classified information. And I tell you
yeah,
what, I don't have a security clearance, so
I
but I
just
know they used F-18s to bomb Yemen
right.
at roughly 2 in the afternoon. I
And
know that because I read it in the text message from Pete Hegson.
and not once in that entire conversation did JD Vance say thank you. Not fucking once.
he was just happy to be
He
there.
just didn't even thank Pete for his efforts.
I
Oh
think
God.
Ungrateful couch fucking fuck.
I'm sickened by the fact that these government officials can lie under oath and basically was that perjure themselves, and nothing will come from it because who's president. But you have any one of us goes into a courtroom in for something way less severe, obviously, because we're not fucking officials or anything important. And say we have we dug a hole wrong and we're getting fined by the city, and we say, oh, we dug it 8 feet wide and it was fucking 9 feet, right? And we lied under oath. There's a chance that our fucking prosecutor says that and we go to jail for like 30 days, right? And because whether we know it or not, that was a lie or whatever, and they can't prove that it was unintentional or not. So in that case, these fucking guys are lying blatantly to America, and then it's now proved that they were lying, and then nothing will happen. Nothing. and all those.
Elon Musk is on it. Don't worry. They're having Elon Musk figure out why that number was in everyone's fucking phone and
Yeah,
why
that
it got on a
fucking
group chat.
They're
goddamn
probably gonna
bonkhead.
arrest this fucking reporter.
He might disappear. He might want to go ahead and take a vacation.
Right.
Yeah, there's really no saying, I guess, at this point. I'm sure they've done worse for less. So, yeah, it's just. I guess that's why we have the Department of Education, right, boys? And oh, wait a
So
minute.
people can learn to read.
But I guess that's going away now, or on its way, with an executive order from Donald J. Trump, our president of the United States of America.
Another illegal executive order, by the way, or one that, as far as I understand, is probably illegal.
It is.
I think
Yeah.
Congress is going to need a whole bunch of votes
60.
to get rid of a department. Because I mean that's
It's
to
2/3,
start a
right?
department. Yeah, to start a department, I think it's 2/3. So I think to get rid of a department, it's 2/3. Um, but again, they're just breaking it anyway by laying off half of the force. I mean, they're going to make
Yeah.
it essentially not work anyway. I was thinking about this the other day. Is I don't know. I know the student loans and stuff has been handed off to like the Small Business Bureau or some shit. But I don't know what that means for higher education down the road. You know, because of course, it affects like all of the kids growing up, right? Of course, it affects like younger kids in public education of that, of course, and that's probably arguably the bigger issue here is that. But I also wonder how it's going to affect higher education because if you want people to be doctors and scientists and engineers and lawyers and all that stuff, you kind of need higher education, and you kind of need some of the stuff that the Department of Education does in order to facilitate that. So we're going to have and I think it kind of part of it goes to, also they always talk about, we're going to bring manufacturing back to this country, we're going to bring manufacturing back. Those jobs fucking suck and nobody wants to do them. Like, that's just the reality of it. Not a lot of people really want to do those jobs as a career. But if you can't hardly fucking read, and if you can't go to college because the Department of Education's all fucked up, and you can't get a loan because this is supposed to operate for profit now, or the government is supposed to operate for profit now, what are you going to do? You're going to go get a job at the goddamn Chevy manufacturing plant, apparently, and work that. And we're just going to go all the way back to, but this time you won't be able to have someone work at the Chevy manufacturing plant in Detroit and be able to, buy a house for your family. You and your wife will both have to work there, and then you'll still need food stamps, which they won't give you because you'll get paid $5 an hour because they'll just rip the reins right off of everything. So I don't know. That's my tinfoil hat moment for that, I guess.
Yeah. It's just another example of, you know, oh, this service isn't working. You know what we need? We need to put a middleman in there that can make some fucking money off of it. That'll make it run better. Just like everything else that, look at our healthcare and how great that is.
Yeah.
It's because we have all these middlemen fucking people making money off of people that have no choice but to pay them money just to be denied. We should do that to our Department of Education, everything else that every other fucking government service that we pay for. It's fucking maddening, man. I hate this.
Dude, it's another way that the billionaires and rich people, like the truly rich, like, and also to be clear, this is like right before we came on, I was watching someone talk about this. By rich, I think when people think, they go like, oh, someday I will be rich. Average people think that like $200,000 a year income is rich. So I think we need to be clear. We're talking about multimillionaires, billionaires, like people rich beyond anything we could even fucking fathom. I don't even know what $1 million fucking looks like. So this is just another way that all these rich fucks are kicking people down. They're pulling up the ladder behind them by keeping you fucking stupid and not giving you education. And knowledge is a powerful thing. Why the fuck do you think they ban books? Why the fuck do you think they don't want you to go to school? Right? If you don't know any better, they'll just shove you into a fucking rock quarry somewhere and just give you a fucking hammer and just tell you to hit rocks all day for no
Right.
goddamn pay.
Right. The people, like, I really wish more people would get it out of their fucking head that colleges and, higher education is indoctrinating people to go, lean left or become a Democrat. It's like, no, they're just learning more shit about how the world works and deciding, hey, maybe we should give a shit about the people everybody in society, instead of just handing out more and more and more shit to ultra wealthy people. It's really these same people that are missing the conspiracy theory with fucking Pete Hegseth and all this other shit, and they're conspiring and lying to your fucking face. Okay, you don't see that, but you're making up this fucking giant conspiracy theory about colleges convincing people they should dye their hair purple. Fuck
Dude,
off.
I want to know what, everyone says, these stupid liberal colleges. Give me the names of some conservative colleges then,
Right.
right? Because no one ever says, well, that's a good one. That's a good one to go to. That's a conservative one. That one's not. Because you're right. All you do is you go to colleges and they teach you stuff and you learn things and it might change the way you view the world a little bit. I know that I've moved left as I've gotten older against the conventional knowledge apparently, but like I've moved left because I've learned more things. I've had more experiences. I've spoken to more people, and that's moved me left because I realize and understand a little bit more about other people's experiences and I have a little bit more empathy for their experiences, which is not a bug in the system, like
Right.
Elon Musk would claim. And it's just pushed me left because I want the world to be better for everyone, not just for me. Again, I'm a white guy. I could realistically be fine this entire 4 years. I might come out smelling like roses because I'm a white dude, like a straight white dude, but it's the other people that I'm more worried about. Like, my sisters, the trans homies and my gay homies and like people of color that I know, like all those people. Those are the people I'm worried about. Yeah, I don't know, man.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of executive orders that Trumpy keeps signing are seemingly illegal, and they have to wait on votes to get through, right?
Well, I don't think we need the seemingly. They are illegal. It's fucking illegal. He
A lot
can't
of
do it.
them are
He's
flatly, yeah.
overstepping his fucking bounds. He's Congress is complicit in it, or most of Congress is just letting it happen. And the judges are trying to put up a fight, at least all the fucking honorable ones, and which has been most of them so far, I believe. But like,
Shockingly.
yeah, like the checks and balances aren't doing their fucking job to rein in Trump's power, and with one of the checks, Congress just enabling him at this point. Um, that's why he's just getting away with it, because they can't enforce anything like that. They're not in charge of the police or the army or whatever. It's the executive branch that's in charge of that shit. So guess who that is?
I feel like this whole however many days in we are here, the whole time has been him kind of calling us like we're all sitting around the table, we're all playing poker, and everyone lays down their cards. And they go, all right, what do we got? Who won this hand? And he lays down a bunch of fucking Uno cards, and we go, Donald, that's not even the right game. What are you doing? And he goes, I won. And everyone goes like, well, no, because we're not playing Uno. And you laid down. How did you get 5 cards? One of these has a bite taken out of it. What are you doing? Like, what's happening here? Everyone else laid down 2 cards. You only need 2. Nope. Listen, straight flush,
Five's
dude. You
better.
have you got 2 green plus 4s, and like you got a red plus 2. I don't know. Like you got a reverse. I don't know what the fuck to do with this. None of this makes it. I won. And everyone just goes like, fuck, all right, whatever. And they push their chips over and we deal out the next hand. And that's the way all of these feel. Like all these executive orders, he's just calling our bluff. And everyone just goes like, it's the kid that you have, like your parents go play with the kid. He's lonely. Like go be his friend. But he's like the weirdest fucking kid. And you're just like, okay, let's play tag. And he gives you the stupidest rules for tag you've ever heard. And you're like, okay, I'm not gonna. Fine, we'll play tag this way. It's not how you play tag, but I guess I'll climb a fucking tree and then like slam my nuts on the branches on the way down. I guess that's how you play tag now.
And
Like,
you're still it.
yeah, and you're still. I don't. Yeah, I guess we tag each other with our dicks. I don't know what the fuck is going on.
Yeah, that seems about right. Seems about right. Trump is a dictator.
Russian dictator.
Yeah, yeah. I think yeah, we can wrap up here. I think it's just disappointing to see that it's just the give a fuck meter is broken for the adults in this country that are running it, and it seems like we just don't have enough power as a group, as a country, that aren't elected officials to do anything about it. But let's let's talk through some quick topics here that are going to go that we're not necessarily going to talk about today, but they're going to be if the audience wants to read more about some crazy events that have happened or are happening right before our eyes. We're going to put them in the with links in the description within the podcast on wherever you're listening. So check those out if you want. But those topics are and Zach labeled it as other insane shit to mention. So the first one being Trump floats the idea of compensation for January Sixers. Um, so I don't know, Zach, if you want to, while I'm going through this, just kind of give it a brief little explanation of what that one is.
Yeah, that was he did an interview on Newsmax. And so basically the question he was asked was something about, all these people being the J6 insurrectionists, they've lost income, they were in jail, they had legal fees, et cetera, et cetera. Is there any, and I think the question was something along the lines of directly, is there any consideration of compensation for these people? And Trump says, yes, I think so. They were done so wrong. A lot of people in government like these people, et cetera, et cetera. The link I don't think has the clip in it. But I mean, if you look up anything like that, you can probably find the clip that I'm talking about and get better context for it. But yeah,
Sure.
that's that one.
Perfect. Then the second out of three is Speaker Mike Johnson floats eliminating the federal courts.
Yeah, that one's exactly like it sounds. Speaker of the House Mike Johnson, the shortest little baby boy, wants to get rid of the courts because they're getting in the way so much. This is a thing
Doing
that
their
they've been
fucking
bitching about up
job.
and down. Yeah, they're making this hard. They're making my fascism hard. Um, Yeah, I mean, this is the thing MAGA's been bitching about up and down. I think it's gaining popularity. A lot of people are pissed off at judges, even like at the citizen level, just the fans of MAGA here. So yeah, that's exactly like it sounds. He's kind of floated that idea. Again, how serious this one is, either not sure, but something to keep an eye on.
Perfect. And then rounding it off is Trump signing an executive order making it harder to vote.
Yep. Again, just like it sounds. Again, there's the link in the show notes. There's an article and a link to the actual executive order from the White House's website. They want to tighten up requirements for identification that you would have to present to vote. Now, this changes state by state. States are allowed to set up their own voting rules. So at a federal level, again, I don't honestly know that this is even like a real thing he can do. And I can only really speak for Minnesota because I've only ever voted in Minnesota. We make it very easy here. A state issue photo ID and a bill with your address on it. You can register. But I think they are floating the idea of requiring passports, birth certificates, some real intense things, which can disenfranchise poorer voters, older voters, things like that, and that can obviously be a problem. Voting should be a right in this country that everyone enjoys. So that's that one.
Perfect. Yeah. I think we've seen disguised classism, racism before in this country. So that is fantastic.
Yeah, we're doing it again.
The same, but different. All right, fellas. Well, that is the end of this episode. For those of you listening, thank you again for dropping by. Again, don't buy dog food unless it's for your dog. um, even though it tickled a little bit about my brain, that's just because I'm lazy and I just go to Aldi and buy a bunch of chicken and just eat that. Lately, just right out of the package. So that's what I do.
That's some goblin shit. When I do stuff like that, I call it a goblin meal.
Yeah. Well, that's me. But any final words from you guys? Maybe something positive to end this unfortunate negative podcast.
I want to point out that in the notes, Zach called the leaked text whiskey leaks, and that is the funniest shit I've seen today. And he said he didn't come up with it, but it's still funny as hell. That's my positive spin on it.
Yeah, I can't take credit for whiskey leaks. Unfortunately, I really liked that one. Yeah, dude, I don't know. I mean, again, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Find your people. I had a good experience. Went out to dinner with some homies from the gym last night actually to see one of them off. He's moving out of state. And yeah, dude, just find your people. find people you can be close to and be, I think being vulnerable emotionally sometimes, especially as a dude, is important because right now it's easy to be hanging on by a thread, and sometimes you just need like a little bit of a bro hug, or a little bit of a moment in the gym when you're rattling some iron, just to pull you off the ledge a little bit. So yeah, I don't know, find your people and go out and have dinner, or fight them all over and have dinner or something like that. Do something positive for yourself this week.
You always connected, you're gonna just get really depressed. So if you need to take a break, that's all right.
I agree. Perfect. Well said, fellas. All right, we'll see you guys later. See you next week. Thanks for stopping by.
Safe
I love you,
drive.
bud.